Hello, beautiful, beloved souls. Welcome to this video where we're going to be talking about the common reasons, the common signs that I see in women who have suppressed feminine magic, who suppress their life force energy, and are not fully living in their soul embodiment, and how we can unravel those things, how we can start to bring in the embodiment and activate more of our life force energy and feel more embodied, more alive, more pleasure in this human experience. So let's get going. So if you are someone who has really wanted to tap into your feminine magic and you've been waiting and waiting and waiting and looking and looking and looking and you haven't been able to find that thing that lights you up, that nurtures you in a really authentic soul level way, then I am inviting you into the feminine magic initiation. Come and explore this initiation so you can get a taste of what is truly here for you. I want this for you. I want this for all women. So you are invited. Come join, bring your sisters. Let's gather together and let's awaken this feminine magic. So first, we have body numbness, disconnection from the body. And for women who are trying to access their pleasure and their joy, they can feel quite cut off when they come to their womb space. They can't actually feel the sensations and the pleasure arising in their womb, in their yoni, through the labia. And this is because there could be some trauma trapped there that is preventing, there could be a lot of shame and hidden beliefs as to accessing this pleasure and whether it is healthy and good and bad, or if it is something that has religious connotations, whether it is sinful. And we have to decode those. Even sometimes we don't initially feel that we embody that belief, but subconsciously, if we had been brought up with that belief, it could still be playing out in our physical body. So the body holds that pattern of like, okay, I'm not going to access the feeling and sensation because if I do, it will be bad, it will be sinful, it will have a negative impact on me. So we have to unravel that in order to be able to start to feel and create that sensation again. We have to create safety in the body again, if we've experienced trauma, especially, to allow that feeling and sensation to come back. We may have to actually feel something that we haven't been wanting to feel for a long time in order to feel the pleasure. Sometimes we've been cutting ourselves off from the numbing out the pain, numbing out the trauma. But when we're numbing out, to avoid pain, to avoid discomfort. And this can be as simple as avoiding having had a traumatic experience with a partner, having had our boundaries crossed, having had lost somebody in our lives. We don't want to feel that in our body. We can't deal with it. We've tucked it down in there. It's still in the physical sensation, is still there from when we first initially experienced it. If we haven't had time to process it, we tuck it away. We tuck it away there, and then we don't want to look at it again. And then when we come back to these certain parts of our bodies, we want to feel the pleasure and the joy. It's like, oh, I can't feel it. I can't get there. Why can't I get there? Because there's something already there in front of it, blocking ourselves from that pleasure. So we have to move into the pain, move into the discomfort, find out where it is, what it's doing, why it's there, and how we can best nurture it, look after it, so it can transform. And then after that, we can start to tap into the pleasure. So a lot of the times we look at a lot of these Taoist tantric practices and we may believe that it's all about pleasure. It's all about accessing pleasure. But we cannot access those things until we've done the deeper work on the trauma layers, on the discomfort that we may have suffered throughout our life. So these practices actually get us to do that. We can't bypass anything. We cannot bypass anything. We have to come into all of ourselves, all parts of ourselves, meet every aspect of us in order to truly, come into that enlightened awareness, come into that divine awareness. This is not about dissociating out of the body and leaving all the things that we have left behind. It's actually about giving it all a big hug and saying, hey, I'm here for you, and I'm seeing the divine in every single thing that I have done, everything I have experienced, and we're holding it in the vision of, I love you, I see you, and we're ready to truly be a divine human, to be an awakened human, which is not the human that is actually perfect and has no trauma, has no problems, has no things. It's actually welcoming those parts of us as well and holding those parts of ourselves without that judgment. So, this is one of the most powerful things we can do on our spiritual journey, on our healing journey, is to truly look at those parts of ourselves. This is where we can start to feel more. We can start to tap in more to the feeling body, the sensations, the different layers. And then we actually start to feel so much more divine consciousness, even, and pleasure and ecstatic communication to your divine self, because you can actually feel it in the body because you're still very present in the body. These are very important elements to allowing that feminine magic to flow and to move in your body, because you cannot animate yourself with the divine life force if the trauma is animating you. It's getting you to move in your body. Can you see I'm like clenching my shoulders? I'm holding into my womb. My womb is tightening up and I'm feeling like I'm holding into the trauma, and my trauma is what's leading my life. But if we're not looking at it, we can't even feel that that's what's happening. We can't even feel that that's what's in our body. Whereas when we're able to be present with the body, feel it in the field, scan it, and do the somatic practices that help us and lead us into the awareness of what these things are, then we can start to transform them. Have women who are running through the distorted masculine, distorted feminine lens. And I'm going to demonstrate some of these perspectives because this can show up in a few different ways. Now, this can be seen as suppressed anger, rage, not being able to voice your opinions, your thoughts, your beliefs, speaking up for yourself. These are some big ones. Trying to behave in a particular way that appears feminine, which is the softness, the gentleness, needing to be extra feminine, showing off this extra femininity and lightness and fairy likeness energy as a way of protecting themselves from, being seen as maybe mad, crazy. That's not ladylike to behave like that, to look that way, to act like that. That is not how little girls act. That's not how women behave. These are the different words and the languages that are subconsciously running through us. And then again, it creates the holding pattern. This is how I need to behave in this world. This is how I'm going to get by. There are women who feel and really believe, because they've been taught this throughout their upbringing, that they need to be very attractive and very pretty to get by, to get their partner, to have their relationship work, to get the job that they want even. And these women are under so much pressure to perform and uphold certain archetypes that are just not true. It's not the whole totality of the feminine or just a human being. We all have a whole range of emotions, of feelings and sensations. So we have every right to speak up on that. And this can lead to feeling like you end up with body dysmorphia because you need to keep eating and exercising in a certain way, which actually then doesn't honor necessarily the hormones and the cycles of the feminine anyway. From just undernourishing, I just see this with clients who have undernourished themselves because they feel that they need to uphold that. They've done extreme things to their bodies to look a certain way, but they know, and that's why they come to me because they think, "Oh, I don't want to keep doing this anymore. I'm exhausted." They feel tired, they feel fed up, they feel drained. And then there is the opposite end of that that I get of women who hide themselves as the feminine in order to get ahead into the masculine world. So they dress purposely more macho, they hide their breasts and their curves purposely, they make sure that they don't wear makeup, and they don't sometimes always consciously aware of it. Or they, at least when they come into the space with me, they do start to share these things. They've started to realize what this is all about. They start to realize that behavior pattern actually is a protective mechanism. And I've seen this where either maybe they have family members who are quite overtly, interested in sexuality, that then that means that they feel that they don't want to be a part of that. And I've also seen it where these highly successful businesswomen tend to do it because they feel that they need to be seen as serious, they need to be seen as professional. And in order to be seen as professional, they think that they have to hide their femininity or aspects of their femininity by hiding their breasts, for instance, by, dulling down their makeup and just acting more serious, being more frozen and having to prove themselves academically. And we don't necessarily have to do that. We can find this balance that, okay, if that is a part of you that is intellectual, how you can be intellectual, but if you want to wear that top that feels more feminine, then wear that top that feels more feminine. Embrace that and not feel that you need to hide that or that it is for anyone else but yourself, that just to enjoy that piece of clothing. And it's interesting how we can get caught up thinking that some of these things are quite materialistic, but it's very symbolic. It's very symbolic. And again, I've seen this with other women in general of just wanting to not get caught up in looking a certain way. And I did this myself even for a period of time because of like in a spiritual sense, like I need to not wear makeup, I need to not care about what I'm wearing and my clothes. But I could feel that there was this subconscious like jealousy of wanting to still wear the beautiful feminine dress and lean into that and wear some lipstick. I wanted that. And I realized I didn't have to deny myself of that in order to be spiritual, to be self-aware and to be non-egoic in and caught up in materialism and makeup and material things. I can just enjoy it because I am in a material world and not, it's just like finding that middle path between them all as well. So that was my own experience of it. It wasn't necessarily because I needed to prove into some masculine world, but in some maybe sense, it is because it was like this maybe more masculine perspective of what spirituality is, of the non-dual perspective, no ego, this Buddhist monks that just wear one type of clothing all the time, it's really no hair, it really takes all identity away. And I really did, look at that and want to, there was a part of me that still was playing in that. And that's why I've obviously enjoyed connecting into the tantric path because it has allowed me to experience more of my humanness and live through the lens of, okay, I'm human, I'm in this material world, as well as being connected in a spark of and fractal as the divine. So, how can I play in that and still be a part of this society in this world and still be in that state of awareness? We have the sisterhood wound. So, for many women, there is a disconnect to other women. And there is this desire to reconnect to women and wanting beautiful, loving sisterhood friendships. A lot of women have been burned by each other, especially growing up. at school can get really bitchy and they start, doing nasty things to each other. And then when they grow up, women don't really feel safe around other women. And this can look like in your life is, yeah, just avoiding going and hanging out with just women. Women who are entrepreneurial tend to find it really difficult to open up and work with other women and collaborate, finding it very like I need to just do my path, be in that solitude, and they're just very solely focused on, their own path, and they don't open themselves up to others. And I mean, this can even show up even in partnerships and really finding it hard to open up. And I feel like this is actually a lot to do with the heart energy. And we start to close and barrier up our heart, and protect ourselves. And this could have been something that has even appeared from past life. I've spoken this many, many times now that our beautiful ancient witches that sadly got burnt and persecuted a lot of that time, other women were, throwing each other under the bus because they wanted to protect themselves. And there's a lot of betrayals and things like that that happened. So women tend to carry that along with them. They might feel that even within their community as a whole, that it's not safe for them to like fully open themselves up to others, to share their lives and be vulnerable. Vulnerability can actually be quite a big thing. So this can be vulnerable in sharing their emotions again, expressing how they're feeling, what's going on. So this really links back again to the emotional side, like really trying to limit the emotions that we express, especially in front of other people, but even within ourselves. And this can also look at, really struggling to create community, connection, and friendships, and I think that this has even been something that I've had to deal with growing up. I fell out of many friendships growing up at school, and it's only been in my later years that I've found some wonderful and really, really beautiful, amazing friends in my life. And, naturally, I think from a young age, I was always very good at making friends with guys and not so much with girls. And then I went to an all-girls school, so it just heightened that conflict, shall we say. But then over this time of healing, I've been able to create wonderful connections, and I do collaborate with other women a lot in what I do because I think that that's the powerful medicine when we start to connect together and collaborate. So that is one tip I would definitely give is that even if you find it difficult, I would just really look out for women that you align with and try and collaborate with them. If it's not work, because you don't work necessarily in a field of, collaborating with someone, but even if you was to collaborate in the sense like, hey, let's get together and meet up, like make those initiations to connect with other women and create sisterhood and do things together. Put yourself out there to do it. Create your own little sister circle in your community, in your area, and just gather a few women together and get them all talking and sharing and opening up with one another. It's very, very healing and it's needed. It's needed in society overall for being to be more vulnerable, more connected, and supporting one another because there are bigger forces out there that will want everyone separated and divided. So if we can work as a community to reweave that deep sense of a connection and loyalty to one another, then these outside sources that want that sense of separation have less power and hold over that because have healed that separation wound with each other. Today is about empathy, having this beautiful, powerful awareness of how other people are feeling, having this incredible sense of knowing how other people feel, literally physically taking on how other people feel. This is, I think, something that is innately there for so many, and when we are so deeply loving and compassionate, and really this is our feminine magic to hold and mother and nurture those around us, but it can become our poison when we overgive and we overtake on and absorb it all. We might be absorbing it from our ancestors, absorbing it from our family and friends around us, absorbing it during our work, absorbing everything that's going on in the collective as well. And we just take it on. And we haven't cultivated that tool to release it, to even have the awareness, is that mine? Is this someone else's? We're not even prepared to look at that. We just keep taking on it. You know that you're an empath and you're like, oh, I just feel it, I feel it. You know, some people are in that extreme. Or, you know it's there, but you just haven't got the tools to let it go and release it, not to hold it. Because it can be a powerful tool, taking in, this is a shamanic gift as well, in many cultures where they, take on the XYZ and then they work on releasing it and transferring it into whatever it needs to be transferred into. So, yes, having those tools and that awareness, like really learning again the body, to feel it, to sense it, to know where it is in the body, when it arises, when it appears. Is there a certain person that you're around when you start to feel a certain thing? And maybe you can start to create a little bit of a conversation on the energetic level. Like, okay, I'm going to see this person today, and I know that they're holding this thing, and I'm prepared to listen, to help in any way that is best. But if it's not for my highest and greatest good, then it's not my time to take it on. And I'm choosing not to take it on. Today I don't feel my best. I'm not going to take it on. Setting that boundary, you can just set those intentions, set it up that you are not going to take that on. When I go to work today, I'm holding my energy field in my own energy and I'm not taking it on. This is why Taoist practices are so great, because we can really cultivate cleansing processes to cleanse out our life force energy that we do not need, all that stagnant energy, other people's energy. We can also create beautiful fields of light around us, our own divine light. It's like our own light is the shield, it is the strength of energy that surrounds us, from us, within us, that stops all that penetration of other people's stuff. So it's a process and it's a practice, but having those daily practices do support that happening. And it will be different for everyone what works, because we all have different also abilities on how we connect to different issues from other people, how we take on, how our empathy plays out. We might be someone that, yeah, literally physically takes it on. You may just emotionally take it on and you start acting out and behaving like those other people. So it's really being aware of how it plays out for you as well. That's really another key to cultivating that awareness. So, what is my one recommendation for all of this? What can we do to truly move through all of these different feminine magic suppressors and blockers? How can we open ourselves up to shine our light, to express who we truly are, to embody our health and vitality, to feel our pleasure, our magnetism, and our wholeness? Well, it is through cultivating your sexual energy, cultivating your life force, moving through the pain, feeling the pain, acknowledging it, witnessing it, having somatic practices that support and nourish your body so you can truly be in alliance and connection to your body, listening, hearing, feeling, knowing in every moment what is going on in the body. And feminine anatomy. The feminine anatomy is an incredible healing device. It is a divine technology. I feel the divine has created this feminine body for us to access a portal, which is our womb. We also have our breasts. We have meridians that are all connected to our breasts, that connect us to our womb, connect us all to the yoni, every little facet. And when we know how to use our reproductive system, it's very intricate with the endocrine system, all these different parts of our literal physical anatomy. It helps too when we work with this body, we can start to bring in and draw in and cultivate more light and more harmony because our hormones are in balance as well. And we have the functionality of our central channel and our chakras, our dantians, our energy bodies to all move and pulse in the way that it needs to move and pulse, but in a very intuitive process, because this is the feminine way. The feminine way is the intuitive way. It is the way where we are so sovereign that we know exactly what's going on inside it. We know exactly how to move, how to flow, how to create, because we listen to that voice within, the voice within our womb, the voice within our heart. And this is where I invite you into the Feminine Magic membership, where we dive into this. Every week, we're going to have a divine, sacred, incredible temple space each week. And we have online practices for you to enjoy learning the Tao Tantric way of cultivating your life force energy to bring in that pleasure, to awaken your femininity in its balanced, total wholeness, to support all of your emotions and your feelings, to create intuition and depth. It's all here for you. And I welcome you with so much love.